You are listening to Cool FM, live from Cool Studios. This is Cool News at 11.
Good morning and welcome to Cool News at 11. Workers at South Korean tech giant Samsung began a three-day general strike Monday. The head of a union representing tens of thousands of employees told AFP after talks with management broke down.
You are listening.
Okay. Okay, that's weird.
Cool FM. This is
The general strike broke down. Okay. Okay, my bad. Okay, let's continue. The union, the strike has started from today. Song Mook, head of the National Samsung Electronics Union, told AFP, adding that a major rally was scheduled later in the day. The union, which has around 28,000 members, or more than a fifth of the company's total workforce, announced the three-day general strike last week, saying it was the last resort after talks broke down. The move follows a one-day walkout in June, the first such collective action at the company, which went decades without unionization. Management at the firm, the world's biggest producer of memory chips, has been locked in negotiations with the union over wages and benefits since January, but the two sides have failed to narrow the differences. We are now at critical crossroads, the union said in an appeal sent out to the members last week, urging them to support the critical strike. This strike is the last card we can use, the union said, saying that workers at the company needed to act as one. This strike is not just about improving working conditions, it is about taking back our rights that have been ignored so far, it added. Workers have rejected the offer of a 5.1% pay hike, with the union having previously outlined their demands, including improvements to annual leave and transparent performance-based bonuses. Samsung declined a request for comment. There is no relief There is no relief for motorists this week, as all companies are set to implement a new round of price increases starting Tuesday. In separate advisories Monday, Shell Pilipinas, Cleanfield, and Sea Oil said the per liter prices of diesel and kerosene would go up by 65 centavos and 60 centavos respectively. Prices of gasoline have the biggest jump this week, with 1.60 pesos a liter. This announcement comes from fuel retailers marks the fourth week of consecutive hikes. Geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and unexpectedly large withdrawals in the U.S. crude inventories and optimistic forecasts for summer fuel demand have all contributed to pushing prices in all products higher. Rodela Romero said, Rodela Romero, director of the DOE's Alt Industry Management Bureau, said over the weekend. Five of the seven persons of interest in the abduction and killing of beauty pageant candidate Geneva Lopez and her Israeli boyfriend, Chita Cohen, are under police custody, according to the Philippine National Police. PAP Chief General Romel Marbel said in a Radio 630 interview on Monday, 5 of them are under police custody, 3 were arrested for different cases, 2 surrendered and gave their testimonies, and only 2 are at large. Marbel added that the PNP would arrest the 2 at large after gathering enough evidence and filling the. I'm sorry, that's the cutoff. Okay, I couldn't reveal their identities yet because the case has not been filed, but we can give the whole report afterward, Marbel said. The PNP earlier said that its criminal investigation and detection group and Tarlac police recovered the remains of Lopez and Cohen in the quarry site in Barangay Santa Lucia in Capas, Tarlac, 2 weeks after they disappeared on June 21. Previous reports also revealed that two of these seven persons of interest were former police officers. One of them was identified Michael Angelio Guiang. He was the supposed middleman Lopez and Cohen met in Capas last June 21 for the 20.5 hectare agricultural land the couple was allegedly planning to purchase. Meanwhile, another former police officer identified as Romel Abusa was arrested in a separate operation on July 6. Both are facing charges of violation of the Firearms Regulation Law and of possession of an explosive under Republic Act number 95.6. Gui Ang and Abusa were assigned to Angola City Police at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. They were dismissed from service due to absence without leave. And the country's unemployment rate in May rose to 4.1% as more Filipinos joined the labor market, the Philippine Statistics Authority reported on Monday. Preliminary results of the statistics agency's May round of the labor force survey showed the unemployment rate moved at its highest pace in 4 months compared to the 4% in the previous month, but still lower than 4.3% in May 2023. The unemployment rate, the share of those already working but still looking for more work or longer working hours to total employed population increased to 9.9% in May from 14.6% in the preceding month. This translated to 4.82 million Filipinos looking for an additional job or longer working hours. Underemployment in May was the lowest since 2005. The labor force participation rate, the proportion of the total labor in the working age population of 15 years old and over, went up to 64.8% from 64.1% in the previous month. May's deployment rate fell to 95.9%, lower than the 96% locked in April. In terms of level, there were 48.87 million employed Filipinos in May, higher than 48.36 million in the previous months. The employment rate was also the lowest in 4 months or since the 95.5% in January. Coming up, as Philippines and Japan is on the verge to have a key defense pact in the West Philippine Sea. And in global headlines, persistent heat wave in the US shatters records. And John Cena announces retirement from professional wrestling, which is WWE, after 2025 season. It's been a long while. It's 40 minutes after 11, and koolNews at 11. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The Philippines and Japan are set to sign on Monday a key defense pact that will allow the deployment of troops on each other's territory. Japanese Defense Minister Minoru Kihara and Foreign Minister Yoko Kamikawa will hold high-level talks with their Philippine counterparts Gilberto Derodoro and Enrique Manalo in Manila. The Philippines and Japan share a common interest in strengthening bilateral relations with the US, Japan longtime ally, Japan longtime ally Marcos Jr. will witness the signing of the Reciprocal Access Agreement, which the countries began negotiating in November, the Philippine Presidential Communications Office said. The accord will provide the legal framework for Japan and the Philippines to send defense personnel to each other's territory for training and other operations. Negotiations were close to conclusion. Tokyo's ambassador in to Manila, Ando said in a speech on Thursday as he flagged significant developments in Japan's defense equipment supplies to the Philippines. The talks follow escalating confrontations at sea between Chinese and Philippine ships as Beijing steps up efforts to push its claims to nearly all of the South China Sea. The most serious number in the number of incidents happened on June 17 when Chinese Coast Guard personnel wielding knives, sticks, and axes surrounded and boarded three Philippine Navy boats during a resupply mission to Second Shoal in the Spratly Islands. A Filipino sailor lost a thumb in the clash. Tokyo and Beijing are also at loggerheads over Japan-controlled disputed islands in the East China Sea. The RAA was important because it will enable the Philippines to enhance our interoperability with like-minded partners, said Manila-based geopolitical analyst Don McLean-Gill. This will also complement what we are trying to do in terms of enhancing our security partnerships with the U.S. hub and spokes network. Washington has been strengthening its network of alliances in the Asia-Pacific region to counter China's growing military might and influence, which Chinese officials have said is a U.S. effort to create a NATO in the region. Leaders from Japan, the Philippines, and the United States had their first trilateral summit in April aimed at boosting defense ties in Washington. It was held on the heels of four-way military drills that included Australia in the South China Sea, rivaling Beijing. The Philippines has been a key focus of U.S. efforts to build an arc of alliances owing to its position in the South China Sea and proximity to Taiwan, which China claims as its own. Philippine support will be crucial for the United States in the event of any conflict. Japan, worrying about possible future changes in U.S. policy in the region, was also seeking to play a larger role as an independent and stabilizing force, Gil the analyst said. Tokyo has signed similar reciprocal access agreement with Britain and Australia in recent years. The Philippines has equivalent pacts with the United States and Australia and plans to pursue one with France. Japan, which invaded and occupied the Philippines during World War II, is a top provider of overseas development assistance to the country and also a supplier of security equipment. The Japanese would like to impress upon the Americans that Japan is linchpin of U.S. security presence, military presence here in the region, and of course, the most reliable ally of the United States, said Renato Cruz de Castro, professor for international studies at De La Salle University in Manila. All right. Just give me a second. I'm going back to the studio. Very laggy on my end. There we go. Alright, now for our international headlines. As a long-running heat wave that has already scattered Previous records across the U.S. persisted on Sunday, baking parts of the West with dangerous temperatures that caused the death of a motorcyclist in Death Valley and held the East in its hot and humid grip. An excessive heat warning, the National Weather Service highest alert was in effect for about 36 million people, or about 10% of the population, said NWS meteorologist Brian Jackson. Thousands of locations in the West and Pacific Northwest tied or broke previous heat records. Many areas in Northern California surpassed 110 degrees Fahrenheit, with the city of Redding topping out at a record 119 degrees Fahrenheit. Phoenix set a new daily record Sunday for the warmest low temperature. It never got below 92 Fahrenheit. A high temperature of 128 Fahrenheit was recorded Saturday and Sunday at Death Valley National Park in eastern California, where a visitor died Saturday from heat exposure and another person was hospitalized, officials said. The two visitors were part of a group of 6 motorcyclists riding through the Badwater Basin area amid scorching weather, the park said in a statement. The person who died was not identified. The other motorist was transported to a Las Vegas hospital for severe heat illness, this statement said. Due to the high temperatures, emergency medical helicopters were unable to respond as the aircraft cannot generally fly safely over 120 degrees Fahrenheit, officials said. The other four members of the party were treated at the scene. While this is a very exciting time to experience potential world record of setting temperatures in that valley, we encourage visitors to choose their activities carefully, avoiding prolonged periods of time outside of an air-conditioned vehicle or building when temperatures are this high, said Park Superintendent Mike Reynolds. Officials warned that heat illness and injury are cumulative and could build over the course for a day or days. Besides not being able to cool down while riding to the high ambient air temperatures or ambient air temperatures, experiencing Death Valley by motorcycle when it is still this hot is further challenged by unnecessary heavy safety gear warned to reduce injuries during an accident, the park statement said. And finally, in entertainment news, John Cena announced that he will retire from professional wrestling next year after 2 decades in the ring. The wrestler turned actor delivered a heartfelt speech to the stadium of World Wrestling Entertainment fans in Toronto, who booed in disappointment as Cena said the 2025 season would be his last. He promised a farewell tour with thousands of dates and an epic final fight, and he assured fans he will remain involved with the wrestling franchise that launched his career. Thank you so much for letting me play in the house that you built for so many years, Cena told the crowd. In a news conference after the event, Cena told reporters that he feels physically at my end, but that doesn't mean he needs to distance himself from the sport he loves. And that is it for koolNews at 11. As always, you can send a feedback to or news tip to us at tvhthephilippines.news@gmail.com. And we will have more headlines with koolNews at noon later at 12 noon. I am Aspir. We will see you later for more headlines at 12 noon. Good morning.